Hello, lovelies. So, this is kind of my first real summer project. I know we are headed into the hotter months, even though up here it usually doesn't get above 80. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I don't like heat. However, I do like a lot of vintage summer wear, so I decided last year when I did my nice going out style dress that I would end up doing view C on this pattern. So, this is the pattern I use, which is Simplicity's 1459, and I did this in a duvet cover. It is a white duvet cover. It is, I think, 100% cotton. It has stripes in it that are woven and kind of pin-tucked, and I think it turns out really nice. I got this duvet cover for $10, which was enough to do this dress, which requires 4.5 yards of material on a 60-inch wide. I also got, this time I did the slip lining because I will be wearing this dress with my usual accoutrements underneath, which is a camisole, my bra, pantyhose tied something on my legs, and usually in black, though I might try to invest in some flesh colored ones. And I did not want my legs showing, but I do have a white camisole, so I figured I would line the skirt in white poly lining because I wanted to be able to wear this. At this point I have not finished the hem, but I think the dress turns out lovely, and when I finish that I will show you how it looks in the end. One of these days I'll get around to vlog style doing one of these, but that is not today. So yes, I did not do any real alterations simply because in this version I was doing it sleeveless. I do have to find a cardigan to wear with it, or I might be able to like wear one of my jackets because I will be wearing this during the summer and I want to be relatively comfortable. However, this dress is fully washable, so that is a good thing. Trying to think of what else. I will be making a belt to go with this dress, but I will probably be doing that in a later video because I will probably be releasing a basic DIY on how to make a ribbon belt probably towards the winter, like in November. I will probably be doing a couple different styles of belts this year because I'm going to try and focus more on sewing accessories and making accessories as gifts, such as like handkerchiefs and that type of thing. But for this dress, I really like how the dress itself turns out. It fits really well. It doesn't do what a lot of my dresses do, which is pull in the front, and because I know that it is the sleeve pattern on this one that is messed up, that is causing the arm restrictions, because I did the sleeveless version now and it fits and it moves wonderfully. I know just to switch out the sleeve pattern. That's just what I'm gonna have to do. But I will see you all next time. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below because I am trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to make this an actual thing that I can, make money on instead of just being kind of weird and vlogging myself sewing. So I will see you all next time. Bye. So I started off by fusing everything. So I fused the collar and the facings and the armhole facings so that I would just have that done. The fusing I'm using is 100% cotton with a fusing web on the other side. It's a woven material. So this is my favorite interfacing. So here I am pinning the collar, and one of the tricks I've learned is you can draw the sew-in line for this point directly on the interfacing, and it won't generally show on the exterior when you're finished. as in you flipped it out and it's all ready to be sewn. So here I am hitting around the edge, and part of the reason I did this collar first was I was trying to decide if I wanted to put a ribbon around the edge, and I decided not to, simply because I did not want to have to constantly match my belt to the ribbon on my collar, and altogether the facing turned out fine. So here I am just prepping the darts for sewing, and I'm just doing that by marking the point with a pen because I don't have a friction pen or any of that. And I did a test sample, and it doesn't show very much through the fabric. So then I just connect the dots lightly, and once I've connected all those dots, then I will pin them in place and then sew them. So here I am pinning the darts. I start off usually by trying to match the markings on the ends of the darts, and then at the tip I collapse the tip, and then I just pin along, making sure that I get generally the same amount of seam allowance on both sides. And now I'm getting ready to prep the back. And this one has one dart, simply to help ease the back into the waist. So here I'm just, and I try to mark the seam or the arm side so I can match up the arm facing, because I am doing that slightly different this time than when I did it last year for my good winter dress in that poly taffeta stuff. And here I am pinning it. This method has worked out the best for me. I generally get pretty consistent darts. It looks rather nice. I enjoy it. Well, I don't enjoy it. Darts are probably my least favorite next to zippers, but that's why I tend to try and do button things. Zippers are not my favorite. I will be trying to do more of them because I want to get better at them, but they're still not one of my favorite things. So here I am just pinning out these rather small darts in the back. Really, I can't say too much about this. This is a kind of, like, you do it at your own speed type thing. Once you've got a method that works for you, keep with it, because you will get better at it the more you do it. Rebecca Advice 101. Okay. And here I've sewn all of those up, so I'm getting ready to sew the shoulder seam, and then I do sew both side seams fully closed. I will go back and seam rip open the side with the zipper, but I wanted it fully sewn closed so that when I go to do the pressing, I get a nice crisp edge, as well as the front of this has buttonholes, and I wanted the front to fit, like do test fittings without having a gaping side. So basically I basted one side closed so that I could work with it. And then once that's done, I put in the color, trying to make sure that I don't pull the fabric too much so that it puckers. Luckily this fabric was kind of already pucker-y by the time I was doing this, so it worked. So yes, I'm attaching the collar to the bodice. That's it. It's a bodice. Yes. Yes. And I tried to make sure not to get too frustrated when I noticed that the fronts weren't matching up, because I realized that I have 5/8 inch seam allowance down the front for the front facing. It takes a while to pin all this, but once it's done, it will work out. So yes, once that's basted, yes, you do baste down that collar before you sew it, because you're going to sew on this facing that is interfaced. And this will allow you to not just sew down what you've just sewn, but it gives you the space to do buttonholes. And here I'm just consulting my instructions. I think the sleeves, yes, sleeve holes, because I'm doing the sleeveless version as opposed to A, the sleeved, or B, the 3/4 sleeve. So once I've got those open and finished the seam that won't get sewn to the bodice, I am going through and first I match up the ends, and then I match up the notches, and then I pin the ever-living heck out of everything else. It just kind of is what it is. You're getting a nice view of my interfacing. I need to work on my camera angles better. Oh, there we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. But I am working this interface section down and kind of just trying to ease this material in so that I don't get puckers around the edge. And that just requires a lot of flattening with my hands and generally pulling the fabric out of the way of itself, because fabric does like to move. The worst offender of that is velvet, and I'm really tempted to make like a burgundy velvet waistcoat or vest, because I feel like torturing myself a little bit. Either that or doing like a burgundy velvet jumper. Oh god, that would be pretty. What a pain in the patootie to do. Okay, that's like a winter project. I don't need to be thinking about that right now. So yes. White summer dress. So pinning in facings, it's just a lot of patience and knowing that it's probably not going to turn out perfectly, and just to be very kind with yourself. Like I said before, I do love this interfacing. It is 100% cotton, so you can iron it on your high heat setting and it won't melt on you. And personally, that is my favorite. It's got a lot of stiff crispness, and when doing bodices like this or blouses, it works really well. Okay, for these armholes, sleeve-hole things, I will call it sleeve-hole because this was rather confusing to do. One side is zippered in this bodice, so therefore on one you just sew the top. You don't sew the bottom part because you only will sew to like the first notch and then sew back so it doesn't unravel on you, which makes sense because you're sewing, and that's where your zipper will go. But it's still annoying. So here I am getting ready to put in the pocket, and I just kind of winged it with these pockets. I wanted pockets in this dress. I found using the same material as the exterior tends to lead to a better pocket and pocket shape. So I just went with it. I put pockets on both sides. I kind of like finagled it in with the zipper and then hand stitched half of it because I hadn't sewn it exactly correctly, but it worked, so yeah. Anyway, once the pockets are in, then I sew up the fronts and the back, and then I sew up one side seam, making sure to go around the pocket, and then I sew up the other side seam until I think it was the first notch. It's halfway through the pocket. And then I attach the bodice, and then it is time for the zipper, because you have to have the zipper on before you can put on the hem. You have to do this because you have to make sure that it all fits to a relative degree. So I, best I could, And where I couldn't, I just made do. I guess that's the best way to put it. So here I am matching up pocket pieces because that's kind of important in my daily life, is to have functional pockets. So once that is done, I will just kind of, I'm trying to finagle the material to match back up. It doesn't really want to cooperate with me, but I'm telling it that it has to because it just has to. I need more hot beverage. After this, I probably will go make more hot beverage of some kind of variety, probably tea. But yes. So, onto this project. Once I'm done pinning everything in, I will sew up this part with the 5/8 inch seam allowance, making sure to finish over the edge of the pocket because that will get more wear than the others. So I found an overcasting on my machine, or you could overcast it with a serger, or you could even like zigzag over that edge. But you want to make sure to finish that seam because you're going to be putting things in and out of those pockets and wearing them to death. So here I am. I think this is the zippered side seam. It's already put together the fronts, I believe. Yeah, this is the zippered side seam because that's a finished pocket on the other side. That pocket I ended up French seaming by accident. Really, it was just an accident. I didn't mean to. I just kind of kept getting confused because all these panels are exactly the same. And then one of the other things you've got to do before you attach it to the bodice is you have to go through and put in gathering stitches along each panel. And I did each panel separately, like putting in the gathering stitches, simply so that it would make it so that it would lay nicer, and if one of the threads broke, then I wouldn't have to redo the whole thing. So here is the gathered skirt, and this material is kind of so thick that it ends up almost cartridge pleating itself. So here I made a mistake. I was going to sandwich the bodice between the lining and the skirt, and that was wrong. And then I ended up taking an entire day to fix it and go back and redo it. So here I am getting ready to pin and baste the skirt hem, which is a 3-inch hem, and once that is done, my dress is done. So here is the finished product. I do rather like it. I want to make a wider belt to go with it. Right now this is like a 1/2-inch belt, but it works with it, so yeah. I like it. The skirt is nice. I have functional pockets. It works. It's a nice summer dress. I am looking forward to wearing it during the summer. So I hope you all enjoyed watching me stumble through this, and I will see you all next time. Bye.